Hello everyone, it's Heinz here. Uh, if you have watched any video on my channel, you know that I am a pretty dedicated gacha player. I mean, I play casually, but I do play quite a bit of games. I play Grand Cross, I've played Tower of Fantasy ever since it's globally released, and I have been playing ever since. Um, I've played Genshin before I started playing uh, Tower of Fantasy, but I did give up on Genshin, and I'm going to explain why I gave up on Genshin. Because, yeah, that might be a unpleasant take for some of you, if you are, of course, willing to at least listen to my opinions. Now, in regards to the other game that Hoyoverse has, Genshin Impact, I've been playing it ever since it actually globally released until it hit the lightning area. I forgot how it's called, but soon after they introduced and released the second update for that area, I actually gave up on the game because, to be frank, I wasn't a really big fan of the game because I've been trying very hard to max my Beidou. I wanted to play a Beidou main, and she was my main DPS. I was practicing Dragon Strikes for a very long time, trying to match the gameplay that some people were posting online for 1 HP Beidou,
Nice.
defeating some of the greatest bosses. I've had some successes and managed to replicate the movement quite efficiently, but in the end, it all came down to the gameplay. Although the fighting was fun, countering the opponents whenever they least expected it was also fun and one of the main things that got me into playing the game. What got me in the end to quit on the game was the relic system. I've been
Nice.
trying to farm to get a good relic for my Beta with all the main stats she needs for a very long time. Like I couldn't for the likes of me get a decent cup that had all the stuff I needed. The closest I
Nice.
was a cup that had electro damage, crit chance, crit damage, defense, and attack. And what do you know? This was obtained after farming the lightning relics for I believe a month or two continuously because I am free to play. I don't pay game money to play these free-to-play games. I find it interesting that people think that you should do it. I mean, it is an option, and if you have the way to play those games while investing games, then yes, by all means, you can buy whatever you do with your own money. I just don't think it's redeemable or valuable enough for me to do so. Mostly because I do not have the finances to do it. And to be honest, even if I did, I probably still wouldn't do it because I'm a rather careful person. I do like to
Nice.
invest into things I consider profitable, and owning an animated GIF that you can manipulate into an online game that can go down anytime with no possibility of having those purchases returned to you does not appeal to me. Now, I do recognize in some games that I deemed interesting enough, I have purchased the pass, which is the maximum amount of purchases that I would do inside a game. Currently, I have the pass for Tower of Fantasy and Mobile Legends, and those are pretty much the only passes that I will purchase. In regards to this particular introduction, I wanted to relay the fact that I do know what I'm talking about mostly because I have played quite a lot of gachas, and I do have to say, after experiencing quite a few of them, like I mentioned, I've played Tower of Fantasy, which I feel like it has one of the best gacha systems in all of the gachas, with the pity that does not reset, and
Nice.
that bar that just tells you where you are with the pity. It's a brilliant thing. I hope more games, including Genshin and maybe Honkai Star Rail, adopt it because it's one of the better gacha systems like ever. I I have played Grand Cross. I have a decent roster of
Mm.
characters there as well. I don't have a lot of duplicates for my characters because, like I mentioned, I'm a free-to-play player. I do not pay money. So uh, this is to share the fact that I do have some experience in regards to these gacha
Nice.
games. Now, getting back to Genshin, ever since it launched, I've played quite a few of these gachas, and Genshin was like the one game that had this wonderful, expansive area that you could
Mm.
explore, lots of enemies to fight, um, decent characters, and I should say um, a guaranteed 5 star whenever you hit some threshold of summons that you were supposed to do in the beginning,
Nice.
which did appeal to me quite a bit. I do have to say my first 5 star was Chi Chi. I built her firstly as a healer. In the end, I built her as a hold attack sub DPS. She worked
Mm.
fine, but everything changed once I got my hands on Beidou. Beidou was not my first 4 star, but was the first character in the game that I genuinely enjoyed playing. The counter system reminded me of Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins, and I actually
Nice.
craved for a game that had that particular system and is action focused. So Genshin offered that particular option to me, made it a lot more appealing than it used to be for because of the resin system and the world level and adventurer rank. I was already thinking of dropping it, but getting Beidou made me change my mind. Now, I spent a lot of time trying to get a decent weapon for her. This was, of course, before they actually introduced this pity system on the weapons banner. I failed pity
Nice.
on that for like 5 times, I think. So I've got quite a few 5 star skyward weapons. Not the best, but they do seem to be far better than some of the 4 stars.
Mm.
And after playing for a very long time, the game itself became a chore. I would log in every day. I would use my resin to try and get a better artifact than I already have because, to be honest, I've been farming
Nice.
for artifacts for a while, so I did have a rather decent set. Not the best one, of course, because that's why I was farming for other ones, but the fact that I never got a better one and that I farmed for like 2, maybe 3 months in a row just to get that one good cup
Nice.
really made me want to quit. And then you add to this the fact that I failed pity on the weapon banner, trying to get the Wolf's Bane or whatever it's called, I don't really remember, 4 times in a row. Uh, yeah, after saving a lot of gems just to get that, really made me more disappointed than ever. And the final drop was when I tried to get my last copy of Beidou and ended up with Kokomi instead.
Mm.
So that actually made me quit the game. Coming back on this, I actually dropped the game not because I got Kokomi and because she was, let's be honest, not the best character at the moment when she first launched, but because Tower of Fantasy was about
Nice.
to come out and I had pre-registered, and whenever it was out, I was hooked. And I've played it for a rather long period of time. At that particular moment, there were just a few
Nice.
SSR weapons in the game. Um, there weren't really any limited characters or weapons, how you want to call them. I'm still gonna call them characters by habit. Only Nemesis was the only one because she launched with the game. I was fortunate enough to pull a Nemesis, but I haven't really
Mm.
played much of her because I liked the shield character along with some others that I've continuously used ever since I managed to pull my sniper character, and that was the game changer, the one character that made me really want to play the game, and I've
Nice.
kept playing it ever since I got her. I managed to max her dupes as well, and I do have to say once again the pity system And the gacha system in Tower of Fantasy is one of the best, if not the best. Of course, this is my own personal opinion. You can just take it as is, or maybe think of it as what you want it to be. And this brings me to Honkai Star Rail. So the game launched. I
Nice.
pre-registered because it was a new Hoyo game. I got a lot of emails telling me it's coming, so I pre-registered. And as you all know, Google Play automatically installs the game if you pre-register to it, if you checkbox on that thing, and I did. I don't know if I did it on purpose or not. The game got installed, and I remember one evening after the game was installed, like I suppose a week after it was installed, I actually wanted to play it because I saw a video online about it and how it was better than Genshin.
Nice.
And because Tower of Fantasy did not have an actual update at the time, I decided to give it a shot. And to my surprise, I spent a whole evening from, I suppose, 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. up until morning. I think it was 6 a.m. or so, and just kept playing it and playing and playing and playing. And I got my first 5 star. I'm going to show it now. So my first 5 star was actually this guy. Um, he appears to be quite good. He works really well with Acheron, and yeah, he's a really decent character. A lot of people tend to disregard him, but to me, he's one of the best offensive supports. Why do I say offensive supports? Because there's defensive supports and there's offensive supports. The offensive ones either do something to the opponent to make your team do more damage, or give buffs to your team in order to increase your output. Defensive supports simply decrease their opponent's effectiveness in combat by decreasing their attack rate, crit damage, whatever, or by decreasing their energy, while defensive supports can also increase the defense of your team. At least this is how I see it. I don't know if everybody sees it like that. That's my own thinking on the matter. Um, so this guy was actually pretty good, so I decided to build him. After pulling a few more times and playing a little bit, I noticed a trend of limiting players. And the first time I got to the trial of equilibrium was a real hassle because most of my team characters were really, really underpowered, and I barely managed to clear the first stage. Of course, it was in the very beginning. I didn't even knew that there was a training quest that teaches you the mechanics of the game. I just hopped in and played for a while, expecting something similar to Genshin. But then, as I kept on playing, I realized that the game is entirely different, and some things are in common, such as the UI. I mean, it looks quite similar to Genshin, even though they changed some of the things being on the other side and stuff, but like it's pretty much the same thing. You've got your characters with their skills, their upgrades, their limit breaks. Instead of the actual relics, you've got the light cones. Then you've got the gear, which is now relics. I mean, it's pretty pretty similar in that particular uh, uh, subject. Now, the one thing that got me to quit on Genshin was the relics system. Um, I don't think they were called relics there. I think they were called something else. I honestly don't remember because I've played so long ago that I just cannot remember what they were called. I think it was called artifacts, but they're pretty much the same thing. Uh, so yeah, I played for a while, managed to level up some of my characters, and then I realized that it's entirely limiting. Has the similar situation with resin. I don't know how it's called here, Starfield Energy, whatever it's called. I don't. Trailblaze Power, whatever. It's still called resin to me. And being able to only do it, use a limited amount of it every day. It does replenish a lot faster than Genshin, I'll give it that, but the fact that it's limiting you to not being able to uh, farm enough resources to upgrade your characters is pretty annoying, to say the least. Now, as I've continued playing, I did all of the story until the adventure in Quest, and I have to say the story is extremely good. And seeing a lot of videos on Acheron actually made me want to get her as well, which I successfully did. As a free-to-play, I've been farming resources for a very long time. As you can see, I have no Kafka, I have no Ruan Mei, I have no... I mean, I've did some random pulls on banners, but I've never chased a particular character until Acheron came out. So I did manage to get Acheron. I got this particular light zone 4 times while summoning for her. I suppose that was major luck. I failed pity once and managed to get this particular healer as well. It replaces Natasha, so it's better than nothing, I suppose. And I've mainly focused on using the uh, the fire main character alongside Acheron. This particular character that I haven't gotten a very long time ago, uh, and the third character would change by rotation based on whatever it is that I need to defeat. Now, I have played for a decent amount of time, and I do have to say, one of the most annoying things that is in the game is traces. And why is traces annoying? Well, if you go to a character, why does the game look like this? Give me a sec. Oh, I forgot to activate the uh, the reshade preset. Okay. So if you go to a character and you look at the traces, which are just the skills from Genshin and passives, you will see that they do have quite a bit of them. Now, these little ones, you can easily get these. Even the passives, the bonus abilities, you can get them as long as you ascend the character high enough. However, if you plan to get every skill upgraded, you will not be able to upgrade your skill because it requires a unique material. Why do I call this a unique material? Because this material drops in bosses that you unlock in the story, and you need quite a few of these. Like for example, I've got level 7 skill here that requires one of these. Then I've got a level 9 skill here that also requires one of this. Then I've got a 5 skill here that doesn't. However, once I get this to a higher level, this one will also be requiring the same material as the other ones. Now, I know what people are saying. You should not maximize your basic attack. You should prioritize the skills that you want to do. However, when you are trying to do something that requires a lot of damage, the slightest increment in damage can help. Even this, the basic attack. What if you run out of skill points because you don't have the character with a lot of mass that restores skill points, and you cannot use your skill while at the same time you do not have enough petals to activate the ultimate? What do? You will do a basic attack. And because you haven't upgraded it and it's level 1, you will do 0 damage, which is not quite what I want to do. Now, in the end, I will get this maxed out as well, as far as I can, but I want to upgrade these as well. So I've been struggling to upgrade the passive, the ultimate, and this particular skill as well for a very long time to max them out. And I've decided to prioritize the ultimate because it does deal the highest damage, and then do the passive because it enhances the ultimate, thus making the ultimate do a lot more damage. And this is just one character. Now imagine this particular character has one, two, three skills that you need to upgrade. And once you get the skills high enough, they will each require one of this thing, like unique material, for every upgrade, in addition to several of the other ones, which are easily obtainable if you have enough stamina or resin or whatever they call it in this game, because I can't be bothered to look it up again. The issue is not that you need to farm these. The issue is not that every skill requires at least 3 to max it. The issue is that you can only farm these in events that are time gated. And when I mean time gated, you can only do these fights 3 times every week. And this does not say that you can do it 3 times every week for each of the boss. On the contrary, this means that you can do it only 3 times on the week, regardless of the boss you wish to fight. Now, this is a very annoying thing, and I'm about to share why. Now, if you go to my characters, you probably noticed that I've already managed to pull adventuring. Now, he was not a focus of mine. I just did a random multi and I got one copy of him. I figured, let me try my luck. I mean, why not? As a free-to-play, every 5 star is a blessing, and this guy coming to my account was a true blessing. Now I've got 2 decent tanks that I can use at any time, the Fire Trailblazer and Adventuring. Now, I've been concocting a follow-up team featuring Adventuring and a few other characters that everybody has. I mean, if you don't have these characters, then I don't know what game you're playing, but other than adventuring, you should have all of them. If you pull for him, you should have him as well. The issue is that I am already invested into these characters that I might add cannot max. If you go to my other
Nice.
inventory of my characters, you will see that the traces on my characters are very low. Like Bronya barely has a level 5 ult and skill. Um, Wealth also barely has 5 and 6. Um, this guy has 7, 8, and 9 because I've been playing him ever since I managed to turn him into fire, and he has been a true help. Bailu barely 6 because I've been using Natasha for a while, and yeah, I've been giving her some upgrades in order to do content. But at the same time, in between all these characters that I'm mainly using, I've decided I want to do some Blade. So I've upgraded some of his skills, but not too much. Then at the very beginning, my first limited S 5 star was this guy. He seemed to be pretty good, so I decided to do some upgrades into him as well. At the time, he was my main DPS. Like he was the guy that I would put with wealth, the Fire Trailblazer, and can't remember who I was using in the very beginning. I suppose it was Herta. Yeah, Herta. As you can see, she's not at level 1 on any of her skills because I have used her in the very beginning. But yes, it's extremely annoying because you can upgrade these skills. Say for example, I upgrade this particular skill. Yeah, now it's level 6. It goes up in cost. Once it gets to, I believe, 7, you will need one of those unique materials. And you will need 3 of them for each of the skill, including the talent. Yeah, so that is 9 per character. Now, if you do a little bit of math, you need a lot of those. So every week, you can just do this one boss 3 times in a row, hope that you get enough materials to do some upgrades on your character and get one of their, maybe two of their abilities to max power. Now, I've got quite a few of characters and I've been playing for a decent amount of time, and I do have to say that this is an extremely unpleasant situation. Being able to only do these fights 3 times, regardless of whichever you choose to do, is not how it should be. In my opinion, I agree with limiting it because, yeah, they do give relics and a lot of other things that should probably be more scarce. However, in my opinion, you should be able to do 3 of each every week. Because, let's be honest, in the future, new bosses will show up and you will need those materials for the new characters that they will release. If you only have 3 battles every week, what are you going to do when you are going to have 10 bosses down here and only 3 attempts? And your roster will include quite a bit of characters. How will you be able to decide which one to upgrade? Because I want to play the game, you see. I want to maximize my characters. I want to get them to be as good as they can. But this is a major limitation. Now, I was willing to try and reset these using diamonds because I've got quite a few characters. I don't really care for any others other than Kafka. She's like the one character that I feel is the best combo with Acheron. I know nobody will agree to this. It's my personal opinion. I really like using Kafka with Acheron because of her follow-ups on basic skills and some other benefits that she offers. But yeah, I do feel like she's the best combo. At least that's what I want to build towards. So other than Kafka and maybe Fushuan, who seems really interesting, I'm not really into any other characters. At least not any of the characters that are currently in the game. However, I am quite certain in the future new characters will show up that I will probably be interested in. And new boss battles will show up, like new echoes of war. And I do feel it rather unjust and unfair having to wait a 1 week to do three of these battles. They should allow you to do 3 of each. Like just pick the boss that you want to do and do 3 of each. That way you can upgrade some of your characters, maybe not all of them, because I don't know, maybe you have multiple characters that use the same boss materials. I don't know. It's just that it's so annoying not being able to do this. Like these bosses reset once every week, and you can defeat them relatively easy using a support friend that has level 80 and lots of dupes, I suppose, if you wait long enough. Because it takes a really long time for you to actually be able to defeat it using your own characters. At least in my personal opinion as a free-to-play player. And I do feel like Genshin needs to address this, or Honkai needs to address this and allow more runs. Because having to do it only 3 times every week is way too few attempts. Another thing that I do feel a little bit unhappy about has to do with the relic system. Now, just like in Genshin, whenever you get a relic, other than the gloves and the headpiece, which will always have base, not base, but a fixed number of HP and attack, the armor the boots, this gem of sort, and whatever this may be, uh, they have random stats. And when I say random stats, like, yes, they do have random stats on top, but they also have a lot of random stats down here. And just like I said with Genshin, the thing that mainly drove me away from the game was the artifact system. Because I've been trying to farm a good artifact for my beta for a very long time. I only got one in a very long time that had most of the stats I needed, but when I upgraded it, it gave me a lot of defense, to be honest. So yeah, I get defense could be good on Beidou, but yeah, that is not what I wanted. What you want on Beidou is a lot of attack, a lot of crit damage, maybe some HP, and energy recharge. That's pretty much what you need. But yeah, they all rolled into defense. So I was like, why? Like, just give us something like a gem or a crystal or some type of enchantment that allows us to, I don't know, like reset the item. Like, if I get an item that has 4 stats in the beginning, yeah, and it's got attack, crit, crit rate, crit damage, and let's say break effect. Those are really good stats for a DPS. But if I upgrade it and they all go into break effect, then it's not going to be as good as I wanted, right? In order to get another one of the same type, I would need to keep farming and pray to the Lord Jesus that they does do drop one, which happens very rare. Like, look at this. Yeah, plus 15. Now look at the rolls. HP, attack, crit rate. That's actually a bad example because the rolls are, I would say, decent. Uh, this one, yeah, this one. This is the one I was looking for. So I've got 2 attack and 2 defense. Now, when you look at this particular item, it's actually trash. It's got lots of defense, both in percentage and in fixed number, as well as break effect and attack. What I was hoping when I tried to upgrade this was attack. And I did get 2 rolls into attack, but I would very much like a gem, a magic whatever item that would allow me to reduce and remove all the upgrades, get it back to +0 or 1, whatever is the minimum. Oh, it's +0, here it is. Thus, I can upgrade it again. I'm not saying just give me another one. I'm not saying to make it a lot easier, but it would be helpful that once you get an item that has the stats you want, which you would still need to farm, you can bring it back to level 0. Because that would make the game far more enjoyable. Now, you would say just farm more. Yeah, we are trying to farm more. But when you add all of the stamina that you need to farm relics into all of the stamina that you need to farm traces, into all of the stamina that you need into farming materials to upgrade these things. And then you will also need to add XP items. There's some scrolls that gives you XP on these, and there are some books that give you XP on characters. Those are also farmed using stamina. So when you look at this particular part here, where my mouse is, you want to awaken a character, you need stamina. You want to upgrade your light cone, you need stamina. You want to limit break your character, once again, you need stamina. You want to limit break your light cone, you need stamina. You want to upgrade your traces? Well, you need stamina, and you can only do it at high level 3 times a week, which is ridiculous. You want to upgrade your relics? Well, you need stamina. You want to get better relics? You need stamina. You see where I'm going? Everything in the game is about stamina, which is really annoying to me. Just like in Genshin with the resin and everything costing resin, why? Just give us a way to make our burden lighter. Same with these light cones. I mean, I've got quite a few of them. If you go to my inventory for light cones, I've got quite a few of them that I've actually invested in simply because I had them early on. Yeah, so I've got a level 60, another level 60. I've got this one that's level 80, which I've been using for a very long time on Blade, but then I decided to swap on Blade and use something else that I just got after completing a quest, which seems to be really good for him because it includes healing when losing HP, which is kind of what he does for more damage, of course. Um, then I've got these two that I've been using for a very long time, which are level 80. I've got this thing, which is 70. I've got the tank thingy that burns them for Acheron, that gives us a couple of defense, and the burn thingy, level 70. As you can see, I've got quite a few of them at low investment. And this includes 3 stars, because in the early game, I was using a lot of 3 stars. Now, I know people tell you don't use 3 stars, but how else was I supposed to beat the stages that I was encountering without light cones? Like the only 5-star light cone that I had for a very long time was this one. And to be honest, I was not using this because my tank was actually using this. Why? Because I was low level. I did not have the trace that heals him when he attacks. So this was keeping me alive so that I could tank more. And as a 3-star, this is one of the best preservation light cones that I've used. I have used others on my one of my friends' account. They're just not like this one. This one really, really helps your tank because your tank is probably going to taunt and draw damage, so their HP will be low. They will also be generating quite a lot of energy by being attacked and attacking, so they're going to have their ultimate, I would say, twice as fast as the regular characters if the characters don't have a high energy regeneration stat. But other than that, your tank is going to be spamming ults because they get attacked like 3 to 4 times every round, and if they last enough not to die, they will get their ultimate, and this really, really helps a lot. Now, ever since I've gotten quite a few of these light cones for defense characters, but I've gotten them randomly. So I decided to use this for a while, but then I got this. And at the same time, while I was upgrading this to see if it's better than what I was already using, which is this, I managed to pull one of these. So I swapped to this because I saw someone on the internet saying that it's really, really good with Acheron. And I just got Acheron, so I decided to use this to maximize her passive, and it works quite well. But now I've got this level 70 3-star as well as this one here, level 60, that I wish I could um, bring back to 0. Now I don't want to destroy it. Don't get me wrong. I just want it back to level 1, and I want my materials back. That way I can invest in another light cone that I want to use. I don't want to destroy it because that would mean um, that would mean having to upgrade another one to Superimposition 5. I'm pretty sure with it being a 3-star, it's not going to be that hard. But I've got one of each of the 3-stars, as you can see, at level 5, ready to go if I need to. Quite a few 4-stars, and most of them are level 1 because I don't have the mats, the resources, or anything else to invest into them, or because I simply did not deem them worthy of an upgrade. But yeah, I would very much like a way to reduce these to 0, like reset them to level 1, just like I said with the actual relics, because I don't really want to have to upgrade one of these now. Taking things into a further, taking them further, this is a 3-star. I take back everything I said. I can salvage this right now. Yeah, what the fuck is it? It doesn't say 3-star, so you can't salvage 3-stars. That is interesting. So you can't actually salvage 3-stars. You can just use them as XP. Okay, I could just unlock this and use it as XP. I don't know if it would give me 100% of the XP that I used to upgrade it. I'm really not going to try it. But think about 4-stars. Yeah. If I have this, for example, yeah, this one's 30 out of 30. I upgraded this because I thought it would give a really good boost to this particular character that needs a lot of break to do damage and benefits a lot from characters breaking the opponents. At the same time, I do have another destruction piece that I've upgraded. It's this one here. Now, this is a piece that I don't plan to use very soon. So I would very much like to get this to level 1 without destroying it. Get back my resources and use them on another light cone, such as maybe this one, or maybe this one. Like I've upgraded so many light cones that I've run out of materials, and like I said, those materials need stamina to farm, and currently all my stamina is going into Acheron because I want her traces, at least the damage important ones, to be maxed out, as well as I would very much like to get a decent set of relics, which I would say I am close. But yeah, like I said, lots of defense here. The only reason I'm using this one over this one is wait, why am I using this one over this one? Hmm, that's a good question. Let's switch these two. I almost forgot I have this. Oh, it's got no crit damage. But if I this one, okay. Oh, I was thinking about this one. Yeah, because it did not have crit. Yeah, I had. It's pretty stupid of me actually. I forgot to swap these in between. I did some interchanging with the in between the items themselves, and I forgot that I actually needed to put this on Acheron. But yeah, that's one thing to take into consideration. However, getting back to the point, my Acheron is pretty mid, and I'm really struggling with getting better items that I can actually use on her. Because, for example, if I were to grab another one of these, this is a decent item. Now, if I were to reset this and roll it again, I could get a lot of crit rate, or I could get a lot of attack and less HP. But farming, and it would not need as much stamina because you can buy XP from different stores in the game, but you can't buy relics unless you sacrifice relics. Um, and in order to sacrifice relics, you need to have relics, and in order to have relics, you need to spend stamina, which again is uh, is not an option for me now. So I'm stuck. I can't really get a new item or relic, however you want to call it. I can't upgrade my light cones. I mean, not on this particular character, but the other ones could use an upgrade. Yeah, most of them are under leveled, especially this one. And I just started working on this one because, like I said, I just got adventuring, and I figured I should build him up a bit. So, would you look at my relics? Yeah, I haven't been able to get a, a legendary piece for his hand piece. I do have a hand piece, but it's got a lot of attack on it, no defense. And I do know Adventuring really likes defense, so I figured I should just go with this one for now. Besides, the two-piece effect is active no matter how many stars you have on your actual items. And of course, I've improvised a build for him because I just don't have the resources to invest into him right now. Uh, like this genuinely sucks, and I'm 100% gonna get another one, just not now. Not now because I just can't do it. All of my stamina is now being funneled into Acheron's traces. So I'm eagerly awaiting for them to actually open up and reset the Echo of War so that I may try to upgrade her traces. And if you do a little bit of math, you need 9 of those particular things, not including the basic attack for each of the
Nice.
characters. Now, you do need 2 teams in order to be able to clear endgame. 2 teams means 8 characters. If you add that, and you would, if you do a little bit of math, you would see that you need 9 per characters. 9 times 8. That is a lot. A lot of resources that you need to get for only those 2 teams of each of 4 characters to be at max traces. Now you can argue, for this character I'm only going to do the talent, for this character I'm only going to do the skill, for this character I'm only going to do the ultimate. And to this I say, good luck with that. Because taking everything into consideration, other than the basic hit, basic attack, you need to get all 3 for every character. Because each and every one of them has an effect that you need to make use of. Like, you can't tell me that you don't max the ultimate because you're never going to use it, because get real, your energy will recharge. You will have the ultimate. What are you going to do? You're not going to cast it. Why have it at level 1 when you can have it at level 10? Even if it's not the biggest sum, the biggest number, the biggest part of your damage, it's still going to count for your total damage and the time in which you clear whatever it is you're trying to clear. Like, for example, look at this. She gives 46%, but if I do manage to level her up, she gives 49. Now, if you multiply that by 5 times, that's going to be a 3% times 5, that is 15% increment. That is quite a bit. Now, I don't know if each upgrade is going to give me 3% because I can't see that here. I wish I could, but the game doesn't let you because I suppose they don't want you to see the full power of the character. But Um, there's a big difference between having it at 5 and having it at 10. Like you would say, of course you need to upgrade Bronya's skill because it gives you extra damage and it gives you that extra turn. But at the same time, you want to do her ultimate because it gives you crit damage, it gives you attack, and um, I mean, it just gives you attack and crit damage, but it's good enough. Then you have her talent as well. Now, I know her talent isn't much, but as a support that needs to forward your team using the skill, you are sometimes going to use the basic attack because you are going to run out of points unless you run a support that gives you points, which I do not have. So I'm speaking mostly in my case. I do eventually use the basic attack. The thing is, if I don't upgrade this, this will be coming a lot slower. Now Bronya does have quite a bit of speed on her, and she seems to be way faster than most of the opponents. I haven't gotten her to the level that I want yet because, again, relics. I can't seem to get a decent roll in speed on when compared with other people that post things on YouTube. But I suppose that's that's fine. So this is just one example. Say for example, Welt. Now for Welt, his damage does come from his talent. So you want to upgrade his talent. But then again, this is a passive increment of his damage. You can directly upgrade his damage by upgrading his skill. And at the same time, the best part of Velt is his ultimate, which you would also want to upgrade because he delays their action. The more upgrades you have, the further he delays their action. So basically for Velt, you need to upgrade all three skills. And this is another example. Now, let's get into another character that I don't really know what to say about. Let's go with this one. So this is a healer. The basic attack, I just did it for fun, I guess, because it's low level, it requires few materials, so I figured, yeah, why not? But then you have, as a healer, her ultimate. And her ultimate is the main origin for heals. At the same time, you have a skill. Her skill can crit, or as I like to say it after playing Diablo, lucky hit, and hit your hero multiple times. Like, for example, if I call it a crit, it hits the same character twice. If I call it a lucky hit, because those tend to happen not very randomly, then you can get a triple hit on the same character. This is a skill that you really want to upgrade because it's, again, one of the main uh, healing origins. Now, you also have a passive. A passive is only active when one of your characters die. But you can have one of your allies heal 4.6% of Bailu's HP, or you can have them heal way more. So I don't know what to say. This is a very interesting situation in which most of the characters, if not all of them, do need you to upgrade at least three skills. I mean, one skill, one ultimate, and a talent. So these are mandatory upgrades for pretty much all of the characters. Let's let's take them um, in a row. Let's go. I mean, Acheron, obviously, she needs the talent, she needs the ult, and the skill to do more damage when she doesn't have the ult. It's obvious. Bailu, we already discussed. The Trailblazer, mm, you could argue they don't need a basic hit, but this is one of the few characters that actually gets an enhanced basic attack that does do way more damage, has way more effects, and breaks AoE. Like maybe not AoE, but you get my gist. It attacks multiple opponents. So you want this as well. Now, in addition to that, you want the ultimate because you need the ultimate in order to heal. In my case, because I was using this, the light cone that heals you when you ult. So you want the ultimate to be as powerful as possible, so you do as much damage as you can. That way you can heal as much as you can. At the same time, you want the, the, the talent because it increases the shield that the Trailblazer puts on your team. Like maybe some of you may not know because haven't played Trailblazer for that long, but the shield that the Trailblazer places whenever they use basic attack, skill, or ultimate, they go on all your allies. So you can shield your characters continuously using this. The more you upgrade the talent, the better the shield. Again, this does rely on the character's defense, but if you take into consideration the remaining facts, you do also need this because this is his survivability. Now, the Trailblazer, he will still tank with a level 1 taunt, but the damage reduction will be way lower. And I can confidently say that some of the characters and opponents in this game do a lot of damage. So this damage reduction is really good for him. So this is one of the few cases where if you want to use this character, you will eventually need to max all four uh, skills. I'm gonna call them skills, all of them. Yeah. So you want all of them maxed because they all have value. Now, if I were to choose one, I guess I would go with the shield if I want to last longer and taunt more damage, or with the talent if I just wanted the shield on my team to be stronger. But eventually you will need to do all of them. So this is with the Trailblazer. If you go to Adventuring, Adventuring is one of the few characters that has, if not the only one, that has defense scaling on everything. Like his talent scales on defense. His skill scales on defense. His ult scales on defense. And his basic attack also scales on defense. So again, Adventuring is one of those characters that you will want to upgrade all of them. If you want to max out his damage as well. Uh, this guy, pretty much the same thing. You want to upgrade his basic because you enhance his basic. Thus, his basic will be the main focus when you're doing damage. But you also want to upgrade the skill because the skill affects the percentage of damage that you get when you enhance your skills, when you enhance your basic, my bad. But then you also want to do the talent because he gains more damage. And then there's the ultimate, which also does a lot of damage, so you should upgrade it if you want more damage. So again, an example of character that you want to have all the traces maxed out. Blade. Blade is another character that I feel like all of these need to be done. Maybe not his basic attack. But you do want, I mean, actually, maybe not his ultimate, because I feel like his ultimate does less damage than his basic attack when it's enhanced. I can't say for sure because my ult is 7 and my basic is 2. But the fact that he sacrifices his HP and does this particular amount of damage based on his HP, I don't know if the ultimate is better or his basic. To be honest, I just feel like all should be upgraded because he does get an enhanced basic attack. If you want to max his damage, you will need this as well. The skill influences the amount of damage that he gets, and you also have the talent, which is the follow-up. So you do want to upgrade this as well, so that you get even more damage on the follow-up. So another example of character that you do want all of his upgrades. Now, so far I have seen quite a few, very few characters that only need you to do these 3. Now I don't know about characters I do not have, I simply don't have the time to look into them, but this is a extremely tedious thing that's placed in the game, having to farm those traces all the way up to level 10 when you only have 3 runs for each, not for each, for all of those particular Echoes of War in total. Like once again, I feel like I'm trying to find my words here because I've said it once, I've said it twice. This is not the third time I've said it, but this is one of the most disappointing things that I've encountered in the game thus far. Anyway, it's been far too long. I've been rumbling my mouth, running my mouth for an extremely long time, and I'm quite certain some of you will not see it my way. Um, this is just my opinion. I feel like having at least 3 runs for each of the boss would be way better than having a total of 3. But I don't know if they're ever going to change this because placing limitations on the players makes them play, I don't know, constantly, maybe. It's just that to me, this is a very annoying thing. I do plan on continuously playing the game and maybe do some streams in the future. Uh, if you like a video, if you find it informative, if you agree, or I don't know, if you feel like this is actually an issue, maybe like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a great day.